Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. I'm going to talk about a project that we started this year in March. So we don't have all the very beautiful pictures that are normally taken in August, so bear with me. This is the architect drawn the mock-up, yeah? We already took out the orange trees, etc., etc., all the strangeness that we were not going to implement, but I wanted to show you this because it gives us a nice overview of where the project Grow Hub is situated. So this is a new hotel that is just built, the Hub, down at the Oslo Central Station. And we have a rooftop here that we farm around 120 square meters. We have another close to 100 square meters down at the third floor, and we have indoor areas both in the restaurants and in the basement, where we also grow. So a total of around 250 square meters, and what we are trying to do is to test out a commercial model of doing this. So we get to grow here for free, but we also sell then our products to the hotel at market prices, yeah? And we have employed a person to do this for us, so we hope that that adds up, because that is a very important part about sustainability, that it's also sustainable. And a key element to that is the fact that the restaurant, which lies just here, Norda, is taking all we produce, so we don't have to market, we don't have to sell, we don't have to be there and spend our time on actually selling. It's just sold, we're just delivering it. So that is a very important part of that model. Yeah. So that's the mock-up, that's the idea, and this is how it looks at the moment at the same floor. So we're getting there, it's getting green. As you can see, we have both soil, and we're also testing hydroponic growing at the roof, and I'm going to speak more of that. So this is one of the areas at the moment. This is the herbs and edible flowers garden at the third floor. And indoors, we're growing a lot of microgreens. We are getting a 50 square meter room at the moment. We have a 2 square meter ironing room at the 8th floor, where we are able to produce 24 of these trays a week for the restaurants on these 2 square meters, which gives us more than 4,000 NOK. What is that? 500 euros per week in incomes, only on those 2 square meters. So it's already kind of rolling a little bit. So this is the restaurant where they actually use our produce. Let's go to the water first, because as I said, we are both growing in soil and in water, soil and water. So I just wanted to show you a little bit about the idea behind this hydroponic system, because the idea behind that is, well, green roofs. The main reason why authorities want green roofs is to slow the water, the storm water, from entering into the sewage systems and making inundations in the city. Yeah? That's the main reasoning behind us getting more green roofs. So instead of then hauling tons and tons of soil up on all roofs to make green roofs, could we just simply stop the rainwater, make basins, and grow hydroponically, grow directly in the water? That's kind of the question, that's what we want to test. So how that's built is just simply making a basin, stopping the rain from exiting the roof with a simple damduk, I don't know what it's called in English, and then have floaters, rafts, that are floating on the surface of the water, and the plants just stick their roots down into the water where we put nutrients, yeah? It's nothing very new. It's a lot of food is grown that way, in different systems, different places. So it's just about doing it somewhere else, in a different environment, yeah? So we'll just have to kind of this year measure our inputs and our outputs and see if it adds up, and if we have any additional challenges on a roof, that is wind, for example, or other challenges that we haven't foreseen, yeah? That seems like it's working okay this far. We are not very far ahead in the season thus far, but if we can make this work, you could in Oslo or Norway, you could retrofit pretty much any roof, because the depth of this water is not more than 30 centimeters, and every roof in Norway is built to handle 300 kilos per square meters because of the snow load in winter, yeah? So here we have 300 kilos per square meter of water, and then we empty it come winter, and then comes the snow. So this could be done on any roof. There is no roof in Oslo which can't tackle this weight. So then we could just retrofit without any huge investment costs. So that's sort of the idea. We're trying to play around with all sorts of different local cycles. We are taking what we are allowed to take from the restaurants, and we are composting that and bringing it back to the soil so that our plants gets healthy through the soil, yeah? Now, what are we allowed to take? That's not much, because any animal byproduct, we can't compose that under easy legislation, really. So we can't take all we want, but we take what we can, stuff that is not an animal byproduct, and we compost that. And we're also taking from your food waste, the green bags, goes to produce biogas, which runs our buses, and from that process comes a rest product, which we use to fertilize our plants. So that's some of the cycles that we're playing around with. And there is so much fun you can do when you have the chefs just next by. There is a lot of funny things you can do, like herbs. Normally these chefs, they have to buy herbs in pots, yeah, with the plastic thing, and when they're cut down, they're thrown away. But we can just simply take them up, put them down in the soil, leave them for a few weeks, and they're back up, and we take them back into the loop. And it's easy, and it's not much work, and we get 30 kroner per herb thing, yeah? It's pretty okay. So that's funny, and we try to, as Manfred was mentioning, we try to use the space very efficiently, and that is one way that can look, that we have our cilantro, which is ripe and ready to harvest now, and we have the one that we sowed 2 weeks later, and the one that we sowed 2 weeks later, so that we have always there is greens that are mature. That's how we have to use our space very efficiently to make this add up economically. And we're also we're not growing potatoes, right? We're growing other things. Can we see that on this picture? This is kvann. This is Vossa kvann. So we're probably Oslo's largest producer of Vossa kvann, just from 10 plants. Vossa kvann is nothing which is grown commercially. It tastes like shit, but these guys, they can make it taste really nice. And it has a story, yeah? It has a story connected. Vossa kvann was one of the really old cultural plants from Norway. They're mentioned in the old kings' sagas from the thousands. It was a death penalty to steal kvann during the Middle Ages. There's a lot of stories that these guys can tell to their visitors, to the people eating this food, which gives it a value. And then, of course, we're selling for market price, so we're comparing ourselves with Bama, but they don't sell it, yeah? So we can take a little bit higher price for those kind of strange plants, which adds value to the kitchen, which adds value on the table, and which gives us an economic value back. Am I? Takk.